Alright, Vex doing this VOD review for you and Asteri. I'm skipping the first map because part of it was cut out. And I've watched a few seconds of this already, and so you guys get hold somewhere over here, which is generally really awful. So I'm genuinely curious to know what happened. So you guys are playing standard dive, right? This is pretty good for Gibraltar. You have high ground advantage, Widow, Genji, standard, right? So your composition makes perfect sense. They're trying to protect the Bastion with the Orisa and the Bastion. The Mei is like a wild pick. Diva's really good on this map, and then they're running Mercy Zen, which is standard. So they have good team synergy minus the Mei. I don't know what the point of the Mei is, so we'll see how it plays out for them. So at this point, you should all know that they have a Bastion because Shug saw it. So now everyone should know they have a Bastion. So we have to understand that. I'm going to add a static image. Please understand that I'm adding one. Right here, Bastion's up top. So he has sight lines of this entire area. So he can free shoot here, where I'm like drawing these lines. Right, he can see anything in this area. So the entire idea of what you want to do. Oh wait, I'm hitting the wrong buttons. You want to get the cart out of this bend as fast as possible. You want to get it underneath. Okay, underneath forces the Bastion get off of high ground and down behind here. Right. So let's see if I can get a better image. Right. So once you get under here, Bastion can no longer see. Right. He is forced to move this way, back, or this way, back here, and he has to play somewhere over here. He doesn't have enough time to get up onto catwalk. He can do this really weird thing where he stands here and looks down this way, right? But when he does this, you guys have the opportunity to either jump up like this, or you can go around and jump him here, or you can go this way and jump that way, right? So you have different options to take cover, and you don't constantly have to push the cart. You just have to push the cart far enough to get him into a bad position. So you want him to be in the most awkward position as possible, right? So you can engage him first here, right? If you engage him first here, you need the Orisa to get the shield out of the way. And you need the shield to break immediately because Shug will not be in a position to do damage here. He will not be able to see past the shield because Shug will most likely be standing on this catwalk way over here. So Shug will almost be useless in the fight. Now Vex, unless Vex walks up this way and up onto the perch, he can't help you as Zen because he also has to shoot the barrier. He also will have limited sights on you with the Harmony Orb or the Discord Orb, so you have to assume that the Bastion will not get discorded, okay? So he's going to have 90 plus, or 60 plus 30, which is 90 health a second on a Bastion, and you'll have Winston, which is 60, plus whatever Diva can hit, plus whatever Genji can hit, okay? So you have to do more than 30 damage a second to be able to kill the Bastion, okay? And you will have Harmony, right? So you will be able to get 30 health a second, and you'll also have Escher for heals up here if he chooses to fly. So you'll have 90 health a second as well. But you also have to remember that their damage output is much, much higher than yours because they're running Bastion, okay? So if you don't use your resources correctly, right, because you have their Bastion, right, if he sits right here, okay, and he's shooting, pew, 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 your Diva has a bar, right, of defense matrix, right? And this you want to stay as full as possible. You don't want to waste this. Your Genji has the opportunity to use his E, his Reflect, and your Winston has a 600 health shield, okay? So you need to balance these three resources in a way to minimize Bastion's damage the most, right? So ideally, this is what happens, okay? When you guys get up to engage, right? So imagine this is high ground, and you get up to engage. First, before you guys even jump, the Winston bubble is the first one to get deployed. That's 600 health, okay? That's 600 damage you can eat. Now, the next thing that comes out, okay, will be the Genji Reflect, okay, the E. Now, the E forces the Bastion to stop shooting or take damage to his face. And this allows Genji to continuously do damage and also continuously provide shielding for your team, okay? So this can be... So Genji Reflect is what? 2 seconds, I think? So 2 seconds, right? Plus, like, a quarter of a second for the shield. Now, if you haven't killed the Bastion in these 2.25 seconds, or I guess 2.22 now, you have to disengage. And this is where the D.Va defense matrix comes in. The defense matrix eats everything, right? It'll eat everything in this like range, and this is your escape to drop down, right? You don't want to die. And the reason you use defense matrix last is because that resource is super important. And yeah, Genji Reflect is also super important, but Genji Reflect is using in the scenario here to do damage, right? It's also being used to protect and to do damage in a great scenario, because either now you're going to do extra damage from the Bastion shooting you, or he's not going to shoot you and you get free damage from the D.Va and the Winston. And if Shug can somehow see him now, or if Vex can somehow see him now, that is the ideal time, right? So as soon as you kill him, you can't leave the body, because the res will come out almost immediately. And the res comes out, you have to kill the Mercy. So ideally, remember, stack your resources properly, your defense matrix, your reflect, and your bubble. And the bubble comes out first because it's the weakest, and it also is the most expendable of all of them in this scenario of diving, because the Bastion will kill it instantly. You just need it enough to get your jump up, and that's pretty much all it will do. So let's see what happens. So Shug is probably going to be one on the cart, I guess, him or Vex. So Spooks is ready. Spooks is already missing 70 health, by the way. This is missing health. Day is missing a little bit of health. Vex is hit, but Vex isn't going to engage, so it doesn't matter. So already you're in a bit of a bad situation because you're already down health. You're already losing the health better. They have a higher health percentage than you guys already do. Their D.Va is free shooting you. No one's exactly hitting her yet. So we use defense matrix early, okay? Cyclone's up first. Cyclone is never meant to be the first one up. Alright? Cyclone is meant to follow Day. Day, you have to be the first one in there, because if you're the first one in there, he can spend maybe a second of defense matrix. Like, he can spend half of DM to let you get up there, right? And once you get up there, you bubble, right? And then you still have half of your DM left. But because Cyclone's in here first, he's going to get melted, right? He doesn't have any survivability without his defense matrix. He just used boosters. He has no mobility. He's stuck up there. He's going to die. You need to help him, and you need to be the first one. Right, so you come up. Now you're late, right? So you're late. I also think you missed the jump, right? So here's another issue. This is very micro. This is not macro at all. When you jump, okay, when you jump as Winston, and you're standing here, and you hit your shift key, you'll go like, whoa, super far. But if you're holding the S key, you'll do a little short jump, and you go like, whoa, not as far. And what you did was you looked up, jumped really high, instead of just hitting like backing up, S jump up, and get there immediately. So I was wrong. You did get the jump up, so you're up there. Reflect comes out in a scenario where I think he's starting to reload already. I have to double check it. Hopefully this video is not like super lag. So let's rewind 20 seconds. Shug's up here. Asher also died somehow. I want to know how he died, so I have to look at that. Can't see it. Okay, so right here, right? No, this isn't a good. Okay, so this is a better spot, okay? So Bob right now is able to hit Asher. Asher, you need to be against this wall, okay? You need to be right on the wall because he can't see directly down, okay? He's far enough in. Sorry, you can hear like whatever this truck is in the background. He's far enough back where if you hug the wall, he can't shoot you. So you're too far away, okay? And yes, you want to be able to heal Day and you want to be able to heal Spooks, but you're putting yourself in a situation where it's going to kill you. And you being dead is 0 health per second, so you really need to stay alive. Right, and you recognize this, and you're trying to walk into the wall, but you leave it initially. Winston Bubble comes out already. Okay, so he's smart. He stopped shooting, and then this is a focus fire issue. Okay, so where are we? Let's unpause here. So I'm assuming you guys call the Bastion, right? Spook started Reflect already. Day's not here yet, and I don't know where Cyclone is. Oh, Cyclone's actually out of mech. Okay, so this is an issue. Cyclone, if you lose mech, you're not a character anymore. How do you lose mech? Who kills you to lose mech? Okay, so you're down there, okay? So because you're down here, you're losing so much damage, okay? There is no reason for you to drop. Okay, let's see when you drop. So back to Spooks. Wish I had a bit of a better angle here, but I don't. So you jump in early, Cyclone. You get scared because you're getting popped, and oh, you drop now. Okay, so you're actually on the ground already by the time Day lands back up here. And that's an issue, okay? Because now Day's up here by himself, and you don't have boosters for another 2-4 seconds, right? 2 to 4. So now you're stuck down here, okay? And you're going to get popped mech because, who is it? Juka and Funk, the Orisa and the Zen, had already both dropped onto you, okay? They both dropped down. They can no longer hit Day. Escher's dead, okay? So since you're the only target to take damage, you're going to get melted. So you did not need to drop, especially because Day was coming up there. And Spooks was up there. And because you're not up here to help them do damage, and you're shooting like little pew-pew blasts down here, which isn't enough damage, you cause the team to like wipe right here. So it's a big communication issue between Day, Cyclone, and Spooks of how you guys wanted to engage that fight. You guys did not engage that fight initially really well because of lack of resource management. Spooks manages to kill Skywave, dash out, and then he can probably dash again. So they're going to set up again. Also, I have no idea what happens with the Mei in the back line because I couldn't see it. I'm going to assume she literally walked into the back line and just froze Shug and froze the Vex. Let's see if I can actually see what happens in the back line. So let's see what happens. I probably can't see. So I also don't know where Shug is positioned in all this because Shug has to be able to get into a position where he can be useful. Okay, so yeah, Mei was literally down there. I don't know if anyone called for the Mei. This is Shug and Vex's job right now to deal with the Mei because they're the only two ones that can hit him because no one else is high ground. Shug also needs to get into a better position of where he can take advantage of the source of the line of sights. So that could either be getting up here with his hook or getting up here and hoping the shield moves, but it doesn't. So getting up here will allow him to hit the Zen and the Orisa that got downed. And it'll also protect him from the Mei, because in reality, if a Vexos dies to Mei and it's a 1-for-1, it's not that big a deal, because as long as you disrupt their momentum and make sure the Bastion can't get set up in a good position, it's worth it to let a Vexos die. So now Shug has no hook, and here's the entire thing. No one here, no one needs to be here, okay? Everyone's backing up. Ideally, right here, everyone just gets under. Whoops. Everyone just goes under, right? Unless you want to dive the Bastion, right? And you're not full dive, and because you're not full dive, you're not going to kill him easily. So, Shug needs to be like maybe a Pharah, okay? A Pharah could be decent here. What else could be decent here? Who are other heroes? That's not heroes. You know, Junkrat spam's pretty decent. Hanzo's really good right now. Always good. Pharah's decent if the dive comes in correctly. So there's like different options you could take, which you don't take. Widow's still good here, but you're not getting enough sight lines to make value out of it. So let's continue. Let's see what happens. We're taking some free damage here, and we're just letting Bastion build ult by taking damage. This is an issue. We didn't pop bubble. Like, you're literally going to die. Just pop bubble. A 13-second cooldown is worth more than wasting res and also trying to get out. Shug manages to kill Bastion, but no one's there prepared to help him. So we're up. What is this? Okay, so what happens here? Escher has to res. Okay, so Escher's in a bad spot. No, that's not Escher. Hold on, let's go back. Let's skip back a few seconds. Because Shug gets this really interesting kill onto the Bastion, which is really good for you guys. 1-for-1. All right, up 1. We're up 1. Up. Okay, so here we are. 1-for-1. Right? Then we're up 1 again. Now we're up 3. And now we're up 2. Okay? We're up to they can't res. There's no reason to still be on high ground. You can go low ground. All right, Skywave kills Widow. That's fine. Okay, we're under. We're all under. We should all be under right here. They Transcendence, which is perfect. Okay, everyone back out. We don't engage. Okay, no one engages. We leave. Disengage. This is called disengaging. Okay, you're two up front, right? Because what's happening here? Watch this. So you go in. They're starting to come down. You're gonna walk forward. Okay. Cyclone can fly out, or maybe he manages to live. Okay. And Escher dies. How does Escher die? Where's Escher? Okay, so Escher's here. And now he's in a really bad spot. And Vex, there is one thing you could have actually done to save him here. And this is what a lot of supports should do for each other, is watching out for each other. So you back up because you don't want to get frozen by Mei. Okay? But Escher gets frozen by Mei. And what happens is she gets the immediate headshot. And let's look up Mei damage real quick. Also, my push to talk is caps lock, so if you see random things go up and down, let's find her right click. Damage, 75. So 75 times 2. What is that? 150 damage, I think. Is there a headshot here? Is it not giving me a headshot? Alright, anyway. You can basically one-shot heroes, right? So because you can one-shot heroes, it's like the 45... what is it? How long does this freeze take? 1.5 seconds to freeze, so 45 damage a second, so that's about 160 plus the 150 shot. So it's a one-shot, right? So here's what you could have done. And this is what support should be doing for each other, looking out for each other. Okay? You know Escher's about to get frozen. Sorry for this drill in my background. People love to drill at random points. Instead of walking away, because you know these guys are all busy, you need to walk in front and take the shot for Escher. Right? You can't let Escher die. Okay? If you die, you can get res. Obviously, Escher doesn't have res right here, but by the time that the next shot will come out, Escher will no longer be frozen. He'll be able to heal you. If you jump and try to block some damage, he'll be alive. Day and Spooks dived in. That was really bad because we already were a member down. We also had used Blade and got 0 value out of it. Sadly, we don't get to watch the Dragon Blade. So we have 2 ults here. Okay. We use Primal. Okay. This is a bad Primal. Okay. Because you're going to engage again. Okay. And because you're engaging again, you're going to feed 1,000 health worth of damage plus whatever you had taken before. So that's 1,500 health of damage already fed to the enemy team. Spooks had used Dragon Blade when nobody's in there. Okay. Day's ready to turn out. Day, you're probably not calling the disengage. And now Spooks is like, I'm ready to get in there. So Spooks wants to Dragon Blade, okay? And if Spooks can't kill somebody with his Dragon Blade, because if you focus the Bastion, or you focus the Orisa, or you focus the Diva, you're not going to be able to kill any of them. You need to focus the Mercy and the Zen. And they're probably in the back line protected. So you are in a bad spot for Blade. Right, so let's see what happens. Immediately dead. Like, Bob's already back. Immediately melted from Blade. You had no team follow-up, so this is a miscommunication of ultimates. Let's see what happens. You guys need to die. Cyclone, they don't kill you. They're smart. This was a really dumb bomb. There was actually no good reason to use bomb here. So you managed to kill one person, and you're going to get back into mech. Okay, so you got back into mech. That was a worse decision than the bomb. Because now you have a kill, right? They res somebody. And if they don't kill you, right? If they were like, oh, we're not going to kill Baby Diva, then you get back into mech after. Or you wait for Escher to push in and be able to res you. But you get back into mech, feed another 600 ult worth of charge. So that's 1,200 worth of charge right there. That's a lot of health. And now, if we were keeping track of ultimates, we know that they have Valk, that they have this, I forgot what it was called, they have Bongo, they have this, forgot what it's called, and they have Bastion. Like, if we're keeping track of ults, okay? And look at our ultimates. Transcendence, and a Valkyrie. Okay? This is not that helpful. Transcendence can be used as a good counter to the Bongo, or to this. But Bastion does 205 damage a second, or 205 damage a shot, so Shug, Spooks, Escher die. So now we have no ultimates versus, no, we have 2 ultimates. We have both support ultimates, and they almost have both support ultimates. Versus 2 ults, which are generally pretty good versus both these support ults. And Cyclone's out of mech. Okay, Cyclone needs to jump off the map. Or he's going to try to farm damage. Wow, what a shot from Shug. That's really good. So now they need to protect him while the res comes out, and you barely can't see him, which is unfortunate for you. And ideally, had this kill come out when Cyclone had his mech, this would have been huge. This would have been the engage call. So right here, that's the engage call. Their Mei is up top, somehow kills a Vexos, so everybody's split from him. Nobody is able to punish the Mei. So we just let Vexos to die. We have to know that their Mei is now walking around doing whatever she wants because she feels confident. So now we have to be extra careful of a Vexos and let him stay alive. And now they're all sitting down here in this underground section. And this could be good for you guys if you had bomb, but you don't have bomb because we used it. Bob is now going to use his ultimate, and now Cyclone's dead. And now everybody's pushing. So ideally, right here, right? Let's rewind. We know that they're sitting down here. Okay. We need an opportunity to go in. So a Vexos can use Transcendence to open here. Okay. And if they use Transcendence to open here, you need to be able to kill their Zenyatta, because their Zenyatta will farm Transcendence insanely fast, which they do. If we had used Transcendence, Cyclone would have stayed in mech. They won't die. So we need to use Transcendence offensively here. Transcendence doesn't always have to be used as a defensive ultimate to counter the Male or the Bastion ult. Sometimes you need it just to be able to get into the fight, and that's fine. So if we had used Transcendence there, or if we had used Valkyrie, we might have been able to turn the fight, but we're deciding to hold on to ultimates for a much longer period of time than we need to. So Shug have sights again. They're still sitting underground. At this point, we should pop sights so we know where everybody is because we're about to engage. And we'll have it for 15 seconds. So by the 30-second mark, when the fight is started, we'll have it. So sights come out now. So now we know everybody is here. A Vex can still use trans early. Day waste jump, tries to push. I don't know why we're still doing this. At this point, we are wasting cooldowns. This was a good jump. Or not a good jump. It was an interesting jump to try to force something. So there's a few things that come wrong with this, right? It's really interesting how Day wants to jump past the cart, right? Because if he jumps past the cart, then all of a sudden he's going to start pushing it and they need to come out, right? And that's a good idea if they didn't have a Mei, because now Mei walls this entire area off. And because Mei walls the area off, Day is now dead because he has no cooldowns, he doesn't have primal, he has nothing to be able to get out. 600 health won't save him from a barrier. Okay, so interesting play. However, because of how your cooldowns work and you don't have your ultimate, it does not work out. So you need to be able to take the fight, and we know Spooks has ultimate in 8 seconds, so we don't actually have to do anything too crazy. All we have to do is bait out the wall, so ideally what happens is Cyclone walks in because he has better directional fly movement and escape ability than Day's jump does, so Winston has a worse escape than D.Va does because Cyclone can just do whatever he wants, fly, and still be able to get out from any part of the wall. So Cyclone baits the wall. You guys, after the wall comes down, you try to do as much damage to the barrier as you want. And then because they're in such a tight-knit corner, Spooks gets a free dragon, which is basically into a graph because they're so tight, and Asteri has to hold damage boost. So that's ideally for this. But then Day does this interesting jump, right? Not a terrible idea if you had primal. Then Shug, you decide to follow him for no reason, right? This literally puts you into the line of fire you don't ever want to be with your main tank in a dive, especially as Widowmaker. This was probably the most interesting play out of all of this. You tried to get sights, but because how the shield curves, you're screwed. Cyclone then dives into this. Main tank is over here. So everyone's really split, and now they have full directional control because of how their tank lineout is working, and that two of your members are split with no cooldowns. So they get to freely kill everybody because of ultimate advantage as well. Blizzard Transcendence comes out for them really early to save somebody, which didn't matter. And we just use support ultimate after the fight had ended. Okay, fight was already lost. They had used Transcendence. We could have went into next fight with a Transcendence bonus, but we don't. Asher still has Valkyrie, which is one of the fastest farming ultimates in the game, especially if you're healing damage that's being taken, which is how you build it, obviously. But we're still holding Valkyrie, which hasn't been used yet in like 4 minutes. Cyclone now has to touch immediately, but here's the next issue. You have to touch in the last 3 seconds to proc overtime. So you actually had a little bit more time. You didn't have to fly in yet because you know they have Maywall down, so you have time, like a little more time for your team to set up. So already flying, it's not even 3 seconds yet, so you could have let Vex or Spooks or Shug or Day to get into a better position, but you don't. So now he's on. We have no ultimates. Asher finally pops Valkyrie. Wall comes up from the enemy team, which is really bad for them. We're up 2 members. No, we're up 3 actually. Cyclone just isn't mech, so we're up like two and a half members. So there's no reason to lose this. Okay, 4 members, up 3, only May and only Diva. So what happens here? Bomb comes down. Okay, that happened. Now that I took a sip of water, let's talk about this. You people, you guys, are up 5. No, okay. So you have 4. There's 5. It's 5v2. Okay. Now, the Diva Bomb is forcing you guys off of the cart. Okay. So, here's what happens. Okay, let's go back and find it. Look, we're all here, right? All having a good time. Here's what happens. Here's the ideal play. Asher hides. Vexos tries to get a better sight over here. Shug hides. And Cyclone dies to the bomb. Okay. Cyclone stays on the cart by himself as Baby Diva and dies to the bomb. This is what should happen. Because if Cyclone dies to the bomb, Asher then reses him, he gets a free mech back, and he's back in mech and making it a 5v2 again. But everyone decides to either run away, they're not in a good position. So Shug tries to go, he's just not in time, okay? Vex isn't in time to run. I don't know where Spooks dies from, okay? Like, I literally don't know where Spooks was to die. And Cyclone couldn't get in mech fast enough. We should be aware that there can be a Diva nuke, okay? It's overtime. We need to keep better track of ultimates. So 4 comes out. And this isn't like unlucky, this isn't unfortunate, because I don't believe in unlucky things for scrims or whatever. Or matches. And then that happens. Okay. That was the thing. Then Day jumped and tried the primal back in time. Unfortunately, the entire team had died to a Diva Bomb. So let's look at the defense. You guys are playing Junkrat, Hanzo, Ryan Zarya? Okay. Okay, so I took the last 20 seconds to think. That's why this was playing out, because I was trying to think of your team composition of what was good. And you know that they play Doomfist, and you know that they play Mei, right? And McCree is decently good versus both of these heroes, right? McCree Flashbang shuts down Doomfist. McCree Flashbang shuts down Mei, because if you're fast enough, you can get a double headshot. Really difficult to do, however you can do it. Then we're playing Rhine Zarya, and you're like, okay, that's good. And you're holding down here. Just here's the next issue. You're having problems with the Doomfist, and you're having problems with the Bastion. Hook from a Roadhog would be much better here, and you also have more survivability with your E, because I don't think D.Va is that particularly good here. Because right now you can't play just for one ultimate. You're not like 1 minute left. You're not whatever. You're not playing for one ultimate. You have to play 4 minutes in a very tight scenario of holding right here. And if you don't get enough charge as Zarya, which versus Doomfist and versus Mei, like you were having troubles with, and you should expect it, then don't play Zarya. You won't get enough charge. Okay? And then the other problem with this is they've been playing Mei the entire day. And if either of your tanks get caught now, neither of them have a way to get out, okay? There's no way to bait a wall to engage. And here's the issue. You need to be able to bait the wall because it's in such a tight scenario that if one tank gets walled, they're dead. They need to be able to get out. So, Hog to peel for the supports, and Winston to play as a main tank, which can bait the wall. Probably would have been the ideal setup, and a McCree instead of a Junkrat. Because Junkrat can't do anything to a Doomfist or to a Mei. They can both easily avoid them, and Doomfist has the skills of an E into a shift into a punch where it'll kill Junkrat. Hanzo is overall really good in any scenario, I would say, right now, so like Hanzo's fine. But it comes down to that. So I don't think your team composition works for what you're expecting to deal with here of a Mei Doomfist. This is a really interesting strat. I actually have seen this once before. It was played in... Wow. The Moira fell off. Okay. This is really interesting. I actually kind of like this. They come up immediately. Juka somehow dies immediately. Blue didn't follow. So that's very interesting. Such a good strategy ruined by player mechanical skill of how they messed up. Also, you guys have no space to work with. You guys are giving up free space that is actually really valuable, and they're a member down, so you can engage them. Okay, so we jump down now after we already like one head res and coming back. We're watching Doomfist. Okay, Suge is getting a lot of kills here. This is really good. Okay, no one kills this D.Va. Okay, no one hits her. Alright, so that's good. This is a good first hold. Again, I don't think this was particularly well played on you guys so far. More of a misplay by the enemy. So we take high ground again. Okay, so if we had McCree flashbang into this Doomfist, he'd already be dead and he'd be gone. Okay, so we drop down. Okay, their Mei wall's screwed up, so we can engage, right? We have the ability to go in and engage. Because they don't have the ability to stay alive. And not the ability to stay up. They don't have the ability to hide anything. Dragon comes out in a combo that's not necessary. Dude, this camera angle sucks. But Shadowhead hit 4. That's really good. We didn't need Dragon because Dragon's not needed to combo there. Especially when Cycle is getting close. You are 40% already, but again, it's not needed. If we need it again, if we need it in a scenario now where you don't have it, it's a wasted ultimate, which is a problem. I do like how we keep resetting to high ground every time after a fight. So Bob comes in. He's almost dead. The issue here is we still have no real counter to Doomfist, so he can come in and out as he pleases. And now we're all scattered. What happened here? Vex is here. He's going to die to Moira probably. Cyclone's way up here. Suge is back here. Asher's up here. I don't even know where Day is in this situation. So we just all split. Okay, Spooks is using tire from the back. I'm pretty sure you just flew your tire past 2 people, one of which is probably going to kill you right now. No, okay. I don't know what this May's doing. Okay. But you did fly your tire past 2 people, I think, or at least 1 person, which was the May. So we're playing such an aggressive hold, and we didn't reset the high ground now, and their May had used ultimate by accident, so that's huge by you guys, and if no one heard the voice line, then this is an issue. So we're getting a lot of Junkrat damage. We have a huge ability to do damage. Cyclone dies immediately. We pin for no reason. You never pin into a grav, especially when they don't have a Transcendence. So now all your damage, which is 75 damage a swing. Oh, let me go back here. So, Shug, this comes back to you used a wasted ultimate way earlier in the fight, or like 2 fights ago, and you don't have your dragon back, so you don't have it ready for grav. So Cyclone sees a huge grav opportunity. He's like, I'm going to go for grav. However, Cyclone didn't check for any combo. We have no dragon on Shug. Spooks is not in position. The only person to combo here is Day, and that's 75 damage a swing plus whatever Cyclone can do, but Cyclone can't do anything because there's a giant shield. So Day, you need to swing into this, and then you decide to shatter, or not to shatter, you decide to charge. And charge comes out after Sound Barrier, so already you're late, and that's this 600 health from Sound Barrier, so you're not going to kill anyone from your charge. Now the rest of the team is jumping off of positions to try to get in, and Cyclone had died. So now you're 1 member down. You have no support ultimates while they are in a Sound Barrier in a grav with no follow-up. We use charge, or they use shatter and managed to catch 2 people, and this fight should be over. So this comes down to we had no combo with anybody. We didn't check positions of the team. We decided to silly micro mistakes of ability usage in the grav, and what turned from a really well hold and what could have been much better into a throw from 1 ultimate from 1 fight, and that is an issue. So I don't have much more to say other than there should be more team communication of resources and resource delegation of what you're going to be using them for. And I hope this helped you a little more with your May Doomfist problem, even though that wasn't even a problem. It was more to deal with not them playing well, of you guys messing up. So that is all I have.